Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. If you can, give me a minute to get my chat pulled up here. I don't know what that, I don't know what that looks like. Anyway, hello everybody. Thanks for joining in with me. If you are coming here after Christopher's live, I walked away for just a second. Hope that's okay. I got a couple of cards. I've got a little bit of pre-prep done tonight, so it might be a little faster tonight. Hello, Michelle. Can you hear me okay? Hi, Donna R. I thought I'd start tonight by showing some of my samples from this release. The first thing I wanted to show was the, because I haven't had a chance. I've got a few things to make and then I'm going to get some stuff mailed in. So I wanted to show my toaster, and you have to forgive me, a piece of tissue in there. So I made a toaster with I don't have all the names memorized yet. Not the breakfast brunch. Sorry about that. Here they are. I got them all sitting here. The toaster treat box. Hi, Shannon. Okay, no problem. I'll drive safe. I'll see you in a little bit. So I used the dyes with embossing ink and sterling to create that silver look, and I did it multiple times. And then I used the Raven Sparkle to do this part. And then the breakfast puns, I believe is what this other one is called. Yes, that's where I got the sentiment from. Hi, Mom. Thanks, Penny. And then I had to create toast cards. So these are little cards, and I'm going to actually use my computer to make some fun sayings for each one. But this one is cinnamon toast, and I used glitter and an older embossing powder to create that. And then, of course, I have my egg, which I used embossing powder on the icicle to create that shiny texture. And then I have my jam, and this is made with the purple chroma glaze. I have my peanut butter, which is just icicle ink over purple. Hello, Heather. Not over purple, over brown. This is the wolf, I believe. And then I have my buttered toast, which is a funny story. My son used to always tell me he wanted cooked buttered toast when he was a little boy. And I kept saying, you mean you want toast? And he's like, no, I want cooked buttered toast. So I have butter, and I created, I used the egg to create a mask, and I did icicle ink embossing powder to create the butter melting, and then I used the butter pat with the yellow chroma glaze. So so that you could do that. And then for my mom, thanks Donna, for my mom, I had to create avocado toast. So I used the banana out of the breakfast brunch, and I cut off the top and bottoms, ink blended it, and then added a little bit of glitter for the salt, because that's the way my mom likes to eat her avocado. So I'm going to use my computer to come up with some punny sentiments for the inside, you know, like just because that way they can fit, and then I'll have them for like little thank you cards, I thought. And then they all fit in here. I just have a piece of tissue to kind of hold them upright. And then I have a couple others to show quick. Here are a couple of my stitched cards where I use the stitch border dies, and I just stitched them with black embossing powder, or black emboss. I can't talk tonight. Embroidery thread, and then I glued them down to make borders. They are perfect sized for a slimline card. And then I think I have one other one that I can share for right now, that I used the stitched stencil to make the background kind of like a shirt. I stitched and cut out one of the pierced border stitch dies, and then I used the toast to make a t-shirt. I don't know if you can see that. And I just cut a little bit extra of a V in the neck, and I cut off the arms a little bit, or the rounds, to kind of give it the arms. And then I used one of the sentiment sets, the Dream Bigger set from the Create Your Own Ending. Slimline is my jam. I love mini slimline and slimline cards. Tonight we are not going to make either a mini or a slimline card. I did do most of my die cutting off screen, but I thought I would pull in. Here is the pierced border dies. Christopher showed those earlier tonight, and I tried something different tonight. So I actually embossed them with dry embossing on a piece of white cardstock. And this is what it looks like with the embossed. I always get them mixed up, so it's hard to see. I'm going to ink blend on it. I started ink blending it to see what it looked like, but I changed my mind and we're going to use the debossed side. So I just used my brown silicone mat that came, or rubber mat that came with my Platinum 6, and I just laid out each die as I went by. And we're going to make a couple cards with this. So the challenge this month on the Brutus Monroe Fan Club page is to use primary colors because we're going back to school. So I'm going to use a little bit. It is blue. It's not the primary blue, but it is blue. This was Clear Skies. And then I'm going to go ahead and use Shooting Star to finish the background on this. And I'm just going to use my foam dauber. It is going to create kind of a green. I don't want to overlap them too much because I really don't want that that secondary color too much, because I'm trying to highlight that it's just the primary colors. And I'm just using one of these Ranger daubers, and I like the foam daubers for a full panel when I'm ink blending because I feel like I can get better coverage. And I'm just kind of giving a little bit of that and cover up a little bit. We're going to cover this up some. We're just going to see a little bit of that background. But I like how when I use that dry embossing, it gave, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if you can see the texture. And it didn't poke out the holes. And then when I ran the die through the next time, it kind of pushed the holes back in place. So I thought this would be a fun background for us to use. And what I did was I grabbed my Lagoon cardstock. I've been hoarding cardstock since we didn't have it for a while. And now that it's back in stock, I can use it again. And I store mine in these job ticket holders from Amazon. And I just throw all my extra pieces inside. That way I know what they are. And I'm going to go ahead and just mat this on some glue. So I'm going to cut this down. 2, 4. It's already at 5.5 because I cut it in half once, and then 4 1/4. So whenever I need it, I just cut 1 1/2. And I just stick it back in my thing here. So we're going to put that away because I think we might be done with that. I haven't decided. Hope everyone's having a great week and having fun with this this release so far. It's a great release. I still have a few things to play with that I haven't had a chance to yet. We're gonna use the Keen stencil for our second card. I have a background made, I just haven't finished it yet. So I'm excited to have fun with that with a little bit more this weekend. So the blue isn't 100% the same match, but I figured it's close enough. It coordinates is what my mom used to always tell me when I'd say, does this match? And I think I might have cut this down just a little bit. So I might trim it just a teeny tad on each side. Oops. That did not cut all the way through. I'm excited to order the faux honey and the Brutella. I have my cart ready to go. I just hadn't placed my order yet. So hopefully it isn't sold out before I get back to it. So I've got that. Then what I decided for a fun card is we would go ahead and use the Daisy die. And this also was part of the Create Your Own Ending release. We use this for a make and take. And I used, to play off the colors for the challenge, I used the Basic Brights pad, and I took the yellow and I die cut it from yellow twice. So I have the yellow, and then so I have the pattern, and then on each side is a different color. So I mean, it's the pattern on one side, it's solid. So we're just going to layer that together. And I think I'm going to put the solid color on top. So we're going to put that, and then it also has the center that says hi, but we're going to make it a thank you card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put glue in the center of the circle. quick, fast card you can do with this. You know, create a stenciled background or use an embossing folder or a pattern paper quick and mat it. And then we've got our little daisy. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that I can kind of pull up the petals a little bit and give it some dimension. My dad took me and my mom out for dinner tonight for my birthday. Oh, that's right, Nikki. Happy birthday. A big pack of ink and photo paper for my cannons. Awesome. That's awesome. It was another hot day here in Iowa. And I'm just going to go ahead and I think we're going to turn it sideways though. And I'm just going to glue it down to the right. Hi, Lisa. How are you? I'm coming to Cedar Rapids, Lisa, in September. I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to stop in briefly. I have a class reunion. My 25 college class reunion is coming up. So you did get it spoiled, but that's okay. You're supposed to be spoiled. It's your birthday. I just cut the center out of some more Lagoon paper with one of the circle foundation dies. I know it's a little bit smaller than that, but I'm okay with that. And we're going to put that right there. And then this will flatten a little bit, but just kind of let them pull up a little bit there and just rearrange that a little bit. See, it could actually still be this way, but I'm going to do it this way. You could use some of the leaf dies from the set Christopher just showed us from the freebie. But what I thought I would do is I'm going to make a thank you card because I feel like there's never cloudy and rainy today in mid-Missouri. So it got to about that too, but it was cloudy, but it still was quite humid. This was the stamp set from my class from Create Your Own Knitting. It's called the Sun Loving. We had a stencil too, but it has stamps and dies. And I thought I'd use the thank you from this because it's about the perfect size to fit right inside our flower. So this is where I thought maybe we'd use some more Lagoon. I don't have a lot of white other than in the flower, so I could stamp it out on white, and we might still do that. But I thought maybe I'd get a little wild and crazy. I don't do a ton of heat embossing with white. I do mostly icicle and fairy dust, but I thought I'd use the white tonight. So what I like to do with white is, I'm going to go ahead and put this in my Misty here. Get my stamp out. I'm just going to put it down here kind of in the corner. Well, actually, maybe we'll put it up here because this piece, we're going to die cut it out. So it doesn't have to be straight or anything. We should do a live together sometime. Are you going to the Alice in Wonderland thing in Cedar Rapids? Because if you are, I thought maybe I'd pop in and just say hi when I had it in between, you know, like the football game and the reunion. Oh, I forgot to almost do that. I'll message you, Lisa. I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool and just kind of dab this in. And I'm going to go ahead and use my pigment ink. That is my key to using white embossing powder. I feel like it can get a very clean white finish. You can use the embossing ink, but I love using the white alabaster to stamp. And I'm just kind of lightly touching it with my fingers because this is a delicate stamp. I don't want to push down too hard. I'd rather stamp multiple times because otherwise you can squish it. And to Crackle Barrel, and you got the new bacon, cheese, onion, fried chicken with buttermilk. That sounds good. All right, Lisa. Well, then I'll hit you up and find you that day. I have to work, so I can't pop up down to it on the Friday, and then obviously I have my events now going on my class reunion on Saturday. So, and I can't miss that. So, all right. I got some friends coming from across the country and that I haven't seen in 25 years, so I'm excited to go and see them. I'm going to use the alabaster ink or the alabaster embossing powder on top, and look at the difference. That just popped up. Look at how that popped. Just a little bit. And we're going to quick heat set that. I put my heat gun away because I didn't think we were going to heat play it tonight. I wanted to use some glaze, but I didn't get anything done ahead of time to let it dry. So I thought tonight we would just do a little ink blending and a little embossing powder. Excuse me a minute. Perfect. So I know the other night Christopher was talking about not taking your heat tool to your project until it's hot. So what I do is I turn it on and I start kind of wiggling around, and I just go very lightly. I don't, very lightly. I just touch it. And then as soon as it's a tiny bit warm, I know I'm ready to good to go. But you do have to be careful because they get very hot. I am ready for fall. Those of you who love summer, more power to you, but I am not a summer person. So I am ready for fall and windows open and just not sweating. So I'm going to grab the matching die because that is a die for the sentiment, which is something I absolutely love. And we're going to die cut this out. Got a little bit of tape here. And so what is everyone's favorite thing from the brunch release so far? There's been so much fun stuff. I haven't even barely got to play with a lot of it yet. I played with some of it, but I haven't played with all of it. Nikki, I am a cold weather girl too. I never used to be. I grew up in Minnesota, but I am so loving cold weather now. So this is what I wasn't sure if I wanted to put the thank you on top of our flower or if I thought we should put it to the side. I think we might put it to the side and we might put a little bling in the middle. What do you guys think? To the side? I think it needs a little bit of something off to the side there. So that's why I thought maybe we'll do that. Hi, Susan. How are you? Thanks for joining me tonight. I'm just kind of finishing up a quick fast card here. We're going to add just this little sentiment here, and then we're going to kind of play with a second card here that I don't have anything prepped for, but I know what we're going to do with. And I'm going to try to get it right here on the side. I'm going to try to eyeball it so it's kind of straight. I'm using that little bit of a background to kind of tell me how to do that. And then we have two choices. We could use pearl to go ahead and make that bling, but I think what instead I'm going to do, you know what, that's fun. You know what, Kelly, my daughter lives in Florida. She lives in Jacksonville, and she's always been a warm weather kind of girl. And last year, for the first time, she's like, Mom, it's just too hot down here. And I'm like, maybe you need to move back to the Midwest, which of course she's not going to do, but I think we're going to add some of these blue gems. This is from the Jewels Mix. This one is the Brights. I did not check before to see if this one is in stock, but they are available all the time. So you can go ahead and sign up if they're out of stock for the next time they come in, and you'll get notification when they come in. So Christopher uses the neutrals a lot. I have the neutrals and the Brights. And I will get links up for all of this tomorrow. So I am going to throw a bunch of glue down because we're just going to throw a bunch of these down. And I'm just going to grab a bunch, different sizes, and throw them down. I don't think it necessarily matters what the sizes are. I'm just going to grab a bunch of them. I think the one thing I like about fall is I love the leaves. I love the cool. I love being able to open the window. That's a lot of it, and having that breeze. I'm trying not to get, I don't care the sizes, but I don't want too many of the same ones right next to each other. So maybe put a big one in there. Thanks, Penny. I wasn't sure if they were just the C cardstock piece that is left over is not a die cut of Illinois. Tried to my best to make it a state. I love the smells of fall too, and I just saw the best something I want to try, and it's an adult libation, and it was caramel and apple vodka with apple cider and apple juice. So you did both, and I'm just like, I am so full, ready to try that. Get it in. So I'm just adding a few more here and there, trying to get a couple of the small ones in there because I didn't add a ton of those, just to add it a little bit extra fun bling. I think we'll get one more medium one right about there, and there we go. I think that would. There we go. We got our first quick and easy card. Yeah, Donna, I'm excited to try it. I saw it today, and I'm gonna have to do that. So there we go. This one was quick, fast, and easy. I love how big this daisy is because it fills the card very, very nicely. So this was using the pierced or the stitched pierced border dies, and I dry embossed them with my rubber mat and my embossing. And then I ink blended it, matted it on some Lagoon, and used the daisy die and a sentiment from the Sun Lovin' set and some bling. So we had a quick, fast card there. I wanted to try to get in 2 cards if I could, so that was the reason I did this one. And then for our second card tonight, this is just a piece of leftover paper. I don't even know what company or what kind it is, so I say use lunch bag. It's kind of a craft cardstock of some sort. This is the Keen stencil, and I really like the stencil because if you're careful, you can line it up and keep using it. And I did do that on a card that I haven't finished yet. Here is the one that I started. It's with the orange candy coat, but I haven't finished it yet. So you'll have to watch for that card coming up. But tonight, we're just going to make a fun, card that goes with the challenge again. I am looking for a piece of paper. This is my favorite way to use some stencils on a slimline card. It's quick and it's easy. I'm just grabbing some of the rainbow Post-it note tape. I think it came with a freebie for me a few years ago, and I've been using it up. It takes a long time. You can use washi tape, Post-it note tape, low tack tape. I don't have any pixie spray anything down on this because it's just gonna sit, and I'm gonna have to use some leftover washi tape to kind of hold the stencil down on my table here because this is longer than my stick and stamp mat, so it's gonna have to stick to something anyway. And what I did is, because it's primary colors, I grabbed the blue and the red, and I thought we would just have some fun ink blending. Now I realized I did not grab my ink blending tools. So I think I'm just going to grab a couple of little brushes to use, since I forgot to grab them. Just that are handy here on my table. I don't tend to use these with my stencils because sometimes they catch. I try to use brushes, but we've got a big area to do, so I want to use a little bit bigger than the little brushes from our little handheld brushes, because this is a bigger area. Otherwise, you guys would be sitting here watching me all night ink blend. So this is the No Diving, and it's going to be a little bit muted colors because it's on the tan. But I think that's kind of a fun play on using the craft cardstock and the stencil. I'm not going to worry about getting a perfect blend, light and dark, just so it's just different. So I know some of the people watching, I'm sure, have kids starting school soon. August 23rd, I just talked to the principal today. What she said is when the kiddos come back here in town. But my kids are past the school age now, so that isn't something I have kind of coming up. So it'll be inundated with back to school photos. So you should have time if you wanted to do a project with your back to school photos. It does not have to be a card for the challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. And look at how fun that is. Isn't that fun? And so we could go ahead and do the blue on the other side as well, but I thought it'd be fun to maybe mix it up and just do another color. So I'm going to quickly grab, and Penny, you made me buy this. This is the peach sweet clean that was made for Create Your Own Ending. And it was amazing. I love it. I'm so glad you talked me into it. I don't even want to use it because I just want to be able to smell it. It's so, peach is one of my favorite flavors and tastes. Anything new out there? If I'm going to try a flavor, peach is the first flavor I'm going to try. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about getting the exact same angle because I think that's kind of a fun thing too. Oh, I'm so glad you talked me into it because I love it too. So I'm just going to kind of go at a different wide, crazy angle. I'm going to use the same tape, kind of tape it down and mask off that area just in case I get overzealous in my blending. And then I have bee sting ink here. And we're just going to do the same thing. And this stencil is beautiful with glaze. Like I said, if we had a little bit more time, let it dry, I'd probably have done some fallen snow over it to give it that sparkle. Ooh, have a bite for me. Ice cream is one of my guilty pleasures. I have, I'm sure the dog is waiting for me to say ice cream. You hear him barking, it's because he heard the magic word. Vanilla ice cream. I eat my tin roof sundae like my daddy. And the last night, I just had a little bit of chocolate sauce on top because oh shoot, I moved my stencil. I was line it back up. There we go. I over taped and I wanted to get the full stencil there. Oops. All right. There we go. Tape it down. There we go. Moved it just a bit. That's why I need a blending buddy for the slimline cards. Peach ice cream. I don't think I've had peach ice cream. We had some rhubarb ice cream at our local pizza shop here in town. And they were like, rhubarb ice cream won't last long. I had to get it. I love rhubarb. It was good, but it wasn't something I ever have to have again. I like my favorites. If I go to the chocolate shop or the pizza shop to get ice cream, I usually get like, oh, that sounds good too. I love peaches. I haven't had a good peach in a long time. It's kind of hard for me to find sometimes good fruit in season because I live in the middle of nowhere in Iowa. And so it usually sells out really fast or I got to travel a little ways. So blueberries have been on sale. So I've been eating my fill of blueberries. Blueberries are my favorite. Okay, so we've got the red. I'm not going super deep with the red. If you wanted this to be a little bit deeper, you could have done white alabaster dried and then put it over the top, and that would have given you a fun color. But look at how fun this is. Oh, I almost tore it, but I think this is bigger than an A2, so that's okay. And cut this down. Yeah, I'll cut it down a little bit since I tore it there. So that was fun things like that. My mom usually takes a case of peaches and freezes them so she can make peach cobbler throughout the year. Yeah, I haven't gotten that far. This is the second year we haven't done sweet corn. We just haven't had time. We ate our last of our sweet corn from not too long ago. But I'm going to cut this down to 3 1/4. So this was about 3 1/2 size piece of paper, but 3 1/4. Then we have to decide what we want to do. Your mom still bakes for me. My mom would bake for me, but she lives too far away. So that's too hard. That's my problem though, right? So I like this. We could totally go with the red, white, and blue theme here and throw in a circle or something to make it a fun, patriotic card. But I thought what would be fun tonight is to use, I actually did grab white, but I don't think I'm going to use the white. I grabbed the Sunny Sentiment set that this was from the Create Your Own Ending event as well. And I loved the Which one did I want to do? I liked the world is a brighter place because of you. I thought that would be a fun sentiment to stamp. I think we're going to do is we're going to grab, I don't know if I want to die cut it out. I'm thinking about making a 1-layer card. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to do tonight. Well, it's almost a 1-layer card, a 1-panel card. So I'm going to grab my Misty here. Now here's the dilemma. Do we do blue or do we do red? Hello, Yvonne. It's all right. No worries about being late. You know, you're here. That's all right. You know, that's all that matters. You can watch the replay if you'd like. You know, it'll be up just after I'm done. What do you guys think? Should we do blue or should we do red for the color? I think I need to raise it up just a little bit. I don't want to do blue and red. Nope, see, I went the wrong way. All right, let's do it this way. I think I'm going to go over this way a little bit, and then we'll maybe put something right here. You know, Penny, you got to let your mom spoil you what you can, right? I'm not going to complain. My youngest he lives here in town, but he's, you know, in his 20s, so he's do alabaster. Okay, we can do the white. We can do white. That's totally fine. Probably going to heat emboss on it though, because I like that. And I always tell him that he can stop by and I'd make him food, but he doesn't because he's, you know, super busy being, you know, all 20 some years old right now. But I like to tease him. Like, I know he knows I have like Snapchat or something. So when I make some of his favorites, I'm like, I'm making potato ham soup today, or I'm making lasagna. That's all I say. And I just keep waiting for him to show up to see if he's going to have it. But he hasn't, which is okay. More for me, right? All right, so this is The World is a Brighter Place Because of You. We're going to do the alabaster, and I am going to cover it with the alabaster embossing powder. So we will go with that. So like I said, the challenge is you have 2 projects to create between now and August 30th, about midnight, using primary colors. They don't have to be cards. They can be mixed media. They can be scrapbook project, whatever, using primary colors. And then, of course, neutrals are always, you know, white, black, gray, tan, are always good. So, and then you get entered into the chance to win a $25 gift certificate to the store. I just randomly draw your name and put all the names in and have the computer randomly draw somebody's name, and then I let you know. And then I also featured all of the projects entered on the blog the first Sunday of the month. So this Sunday, watch for the blog post that'll be coming out with this month's entries. All right, that was a really good choice, actually. We'll add some more bling to it. And then I gotta find a card base to put in. We'll put it on a white card base to tie in a little bit more of the white. I'm just heating it up. Ooh, I got hot on my arm, so I'm done. I'm just gonna let it. All right. There we go. We've got that. I'm going to just wipe this off so that I don't get alabaster all over my Misty. So there are matching dies. I haven't obviously used too many of them yet, so I haven't cut them all out, but I've used a few of the stamps. I just haven't cut them out yet. And then we're just going to let it dry. Yeah, the alabaster does really pop. And I love using, like I said, the alabaster with the alabaster pigment ink too. I think that kind of helps it really pop together. Just kind of letting it dry a little bit so that it's, while we're doing that, let's grab a card base. If I can find my slimline card bases. I put them somewhere. I'm not sure where my open pack is, so I'm just going to buy one. I love these individual card bases. They have A2, mini slim, and slimline. These are what I use for my card bases. This card is reminding me a lot of, I discovered a song. I saw a song this morning. I had to share it on Facebook because I don't do a ton of sharing on Facebook other than my cards. And it was by a group called Home Free, and it was called The Traveling Soldier. And it was about a girl who was just joining the army, and she had no one to write to. So she just met somebody, asked if she could write them a letter. And her world was a brighter place because she had someone to write to while she was being stationed. So this is 7 inches by 8.5, and I'm going to score it on the 7-inch side at 3.5. Makes the perfect slimline card bases. And this is off the perfect one. Michelle, it's beautiful. I never heard it before today. I actually cried my eyes out, listened to it 3 times, and I actually had to share it because I thought, plus their voices were beautiful, that I thought that was just, reminds me of the song Letters from War. And I had to listen to it and just tell people, you guys got to listen to this song because it's great. And I'm always thankful for people, for our military and those who have served in our military. My son's class had 18 members of his graduating class join the military of some sort. So it is a good song. Yep. So there we go. We're going to put that on there. So we could trim it down a little bit at the top and bottom, but I tend to like to just have my edges on my slimline cards, not the top and bottom. So I'm going to, this is cool now, so we can kind of wipe off, make sure there's none extra anti-static powder tool. We're going to go ahead and put this down. We're going to put on a little bit of bling, and I think we got it good to go. I think the world needs more cards like this. I've been debating, I know there's people who started during the pandemic when I got ink on my card base. So let's see if I can find my eraser here. Actually, let's just grab my sanding tool. We'll just make this the back. And there must be a little bit on my card, on my any chance to use squeaky clean, right? Must be a little bit on my glass mat. That's the one thing I don't like about a black mat. The black is that you can't always see where you have stuff. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. And actually, you know what? Now that Susan said that, Susan, I'm going to actually say to the side, and I'm actually going to put this all the way over on this side and leave a white edge on the other side. I've actually never done that before on my base, on my slimline cards, but I'm really liking that. And I see it's just a little bit on a hair on the top. So we're going to grab my big old scissors here, and hopefully I can cut a straight off the top and get that off. Or we'll just paper trim it off. I like that. I like this white. I do have a little doohickey there, but there's my sand eraser. A little red there that I got on there. I'll sand it down a little bit. You won't even notice. Okay, so we need a little bling. Now we've got the jewel mixes that we were using before, and there is a red and a blue, but I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the neutrals, and we're going to put the white. I'm going to use a little bit of the white. And I will get these pictures taken and uploaded tomorrow to the fan club page, so you can see them up close if you want. And it would be really fun if I was thinking about it, you know, to put put one on each center of these, but I don't want to do it too much overkill with that. So I'm going to give, we're just going to do a few. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That sounds good to me. And we're just going to grab some and plop them down. I try not to overthink my gems, because if I do, then I never like the placement. I try to just, I'm not one of those, I've read somewhere somebody's like, just throw them down, and where they land is where you should do it. And I'm like, I can't do that either. So I try to always do odd numbers. And this one there. And I think actually I'm going to grab one more of the big ones. There we go. And there we go. We got that. So we made 2 quick, fast, easy cards. One of them was fast because I did the die cutting outside of the time, but I know a lot of you have already joined for a while, and I wanted to have that done there. If you guys want me to do a dry embossing video, let me know in the comments, and or even on the Facebook group, and I can do that, or I can do a video and upload it. It doesn't have to necessarily be a live. So I am going to pull up my, oh, and I wanted to show you guys the last 2 days Christopher was crafting. I took his card and I played around with it. We'll go over these one more time. I used the same stencil as him, but instead of using the Pop-Tarts, I made waffles. So I used that layered stencil to create my background, and this is with the, and then I actually painted it with the pearl on the blue, and then I made the waffles, and I used the heart from the toaster pop-ups for the butter. And then I made I dry embossed the circle to make my plate. I don't know if you can see that in the live, but there is a ring right there to make my plate. And then I used the sentiment from the punny set. So I was playing along the last 2 nights with him while he was crafting, and this is what I made. Thanks, Tina. I thought it was really fun. And then I did heat emboss the hearts to make them kind of a buttery looking. So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. I've got the Keen background stamp that we used for that, and I put the other one up here to dry. And here is where we used the stitched border dies to make a background. And I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Thanks for sticking with me, and I will hopefully see you next week. All right. So you guys have a great night, and don't forget to create your own ending. All right. Good night.